Did you know? Some letters wait decades before they reach the hands they were meant for. It was the summer of 1944. Somewhere in the dense forests of Europe, Henry, a young American soldier, sat on a muddy slope. Rain poured down. The distant rumble of artillery shook the ground beneath him. He held a small, folded piece of paper. Henry wasn't writing to his own family. These letters were for the families of men who never made it home, the ones whose lives were lost before they could say goodbye. He wrote slowly. Every sentence weighed with care. "Your son was brave," he wrote. "He laughed even while shells fell. He saved a life today. You would be proud." The letters smelled faintly of gun oil and wet earth. Ink smeared across his fingers. "Someone must remember them," he whispered. "Even if I am the only one." Weeks turned into months. The letters piled up in his backpack. Some fell into mud, lost forever. But he kept writing. He kept remembering. Fast forward 70 years. In a quiet attic in Ohio, Clara sifted through her late grandmother's things. Dust hung in the air. Sunlight illuminated a hidden box. Inside, yellowed envelopes, brittle with age. She picked one carefully. The handwriting was small, neat, precise. The first letter spoke of Thomas, who had risked his life to save a comrade. Another described Joseph, comforting a frightened soldier even as bullets fell around him. Clara's throat tightened. These weren't just letters. They were pieces of lives frozen in ink, waiting to be found. She decided, then and there, she would find the families these letters belonged to. It wasn't easy. Names had changed. Addresses no longer existed. Some families had passed away. But Clara didn't give up. She scoured public records, visited small towns, knocked on doors, made calls late into the night. Her first success, a small town in Pennsylvania. A man opened the door, eyes wide. Clara handed him the envelope. His hands trembled as he read the words about his uncle, Peter, who had died in battle. Tears ran down his face. "I never knew. Thank you for bringing this home," he whispered. A widow wept quietly on her porch. A daughter clutched the paper to her chest, reading about her brother, only seen in old photographs. Every reaction reminded Clara of the weight of small acts. One person's careful words echoing decades later. Clara noticed patterns in the letters, little jokes between soldiers, small acts of kindness in the darkest moments. Henry had not only reported bravery, he had captured humanity. The letters were bridges. Bridges across time, bridges across grief, bridges across generations. One rainy afternoon, Clara visited Margaret in Virginia. She handed her the letter about her brother Samuel. Margaret froze. The knitting slipped from her hands. She read slowly. Each word carried decades of sorrow and pride. "I never knew he saved so many," she whispered. "All this time. I thought it was just another story." Her eyes glistened. "Thank you for remembering him." They talked for hours, about the war, about Samuel, about Henry, who wrote the letters. So much lost yet healed by small, quiet efforts. Clara learned some letters could never reach families. Soldiers whose names were unknown. Trails vanished with time. She placed these in a digital archive so they would not be forgotten. Through it all, Clara reflected on her own life. How many moments had she missed? How many words left unsaid? Reaching out, acknowledging someone, even in small ways, echoes far beyond what we imagine. Henry, long gone, would never know the impact of his letters. Yet decades later, they comforted grief, built connection, reminded people someone cared. Someone noticed. When the final letter was delivered, Clara stood on a hill overlooking the valley where her search began. Sun dipped low, horizon painted gold and pink. Every tear, every smile, every whispered thank you had formed a chain of connection. History isn't just in textbooks or monuments, it's in quiet corners, in letters, and care we take to honor one another. Henry's letters, once forgotten in the mud of battlefields, had traveled through time, and now, finally home. Noticing, remembering, caring even quietly, even small, can echo far beyond our lives. Touch generations. Heal invisible wounds. Make the lost feel seen. Sometimes, the greatest heroism isn't on the battlefield. It's in gentle words left behind. Small gestures made when no one is watching. And in those letters and the hearts they reached, life's quiet courage lived on.